So let's get back to putting this front plate, this front cover on the new engine. Let's see. Let's move some of this stuff. So we've got these sensors that need to be cleaned up. Let's grab the other two. So let's get these sensors over here and clean them up along with their bolts. Let's see. Got that one and we've got this one. All right. So let's pour this in here. So let's see, we need cleaning solution, which we have cleaning solution, and let's get some brushes. We'll get this brush for up close, and we'll grab another brush. Just so we can have a nice grip for the hand. Just do a quick cleaning with these sensors, just because they're dirty and because I like clean things. All right. Yep. I'm gonna just wet all of these down, inside and out. Go. Keeping the bolts, I always like to keep the bolts with the parts. That helps us. Let's wet this down pretty good. Helps us so we don't lose any bolts. I suppose these are going to clean up pretty good. It's just sludge, a little bit of sludge and a little bit of oil and dirt. I don't know if these sensors are more, if they work better because they're clean, or if it makes no difference at all. But you know how when your car is, you take your car to the car wash, or you clean your car up real good, it just seems to run better. That's probably not true. I mean, scientifically and quantitatively, probably not true that your car really is running better. It just feels like it is, and to me, that's just as good as it running better. If it feels like it's running better, because if my car feels like it's running badly, I don't like it all that much. I like liking my car. This one's pretty dirty. What's the deal with that? Wish I kept these in order. I don't really know which one of these is, boy, I hope they are, it doesn't say anything in the manual as about putting these in any particular order. lining them up with the solenoid that they were plugged into. Let's see, what does that say? I can't read it at all. I don't know what that says. Anyway, let's go ahead and finish cleaning this up so we can get them installed. Oh, that one's so hard to clean. Okay, spray a little more of this on here. And do a little more brushing. See if that... yes. Okay, well that one's clean. This one is not. This one is, I think. Yep, that one's clean. And this one is not quite as clean. What I'm thinking is that these two sensors are on the same side as the failed header and timing chain. That's my suspicion. So where there was some overheating and some oil leaking, which eventually caused the demise of this engine, and you know, cheap oil and cheap filters didn't help. You should know, I don't know of anybody that recommends cheap oil and cheap filters except for the people who make cheap oil and cheap filters. Let's see here. Why is this so dirty? I mean, why is it so hard for this dirt to come off? Just scrubbing and scrubbing and scrubbing away at this. Since this is a sensor, and if it gets dirty and oily, then who knows, but it seems to me it would affect the ability for the camshaft timing, variable timing on the variable timing mechanism on the camshaft would have a hard time finding the proper timing if the sensor is dirty. But you know, that's just a guess. All right, let's try cleaning this out in here too. Is that cleaning that out? Let's see. All right. This purple power stuff, I could just imagine what the real mechanics are saying about us guys using this stuff from AutoZone and Advanced Auto Parts. I'm just gonna scrub this a little bit and see what it see if it makes any difference at all. Some of these screws you want to just go in there nice and easy. just slide right in. Just screwed right in there. There we go. And then last one. Okay, so we got all these. Let's go ahead and dry them off. Let's see, do we have a nice little bowl or something to stick these in? Let's see here. It just doesn't look like much. There must be some special metal in there that reacts to something or another and sends a signal to these 3 pins in here. I don't know. All right, let's clean this one up. We'll dry this one off. Boy, even with all that scrubbing and spraying, there's still a little bit of dirt on these. So let's see here. This one is this the one that's having a hard time getting cleaned up? It is. Or maybe it's one of the ones. Let's see. Let's put that here. Put that there, and let's grab the last one. With all that scrubbing, look at that, all that oil and stuff that's coming off of this thing. Yeah, this might not be the most necessary thing in the world, but it's good. It makes me feel good about it. Besides, we've got it all back together. We've got all these nice, clean, shiny bolts. Nice, shiny plastic parts. You turn the engine over and it starts up. You feel better than if you put it together. It's got a bunch of dirty parts, dirty bolts. You start the engine up and it runs just fine. I just feel like, wow. So we did all this work replacing an engine and didn't even need to do anything else. Just take the old broken engine out and put a clean working one in. Like replacing the brakes or the battery or something. Here, last one. All right, so let's pick all of this up. So now we put this one in, which direction does it say to point those? Point every one of them up that way. 1, 2, 3. Oh, well, yeah, of course they would go up. They go where you line up the screws, obviously. All right, let's put our screws in here. Bolts, that is. Let's see, what does it say to tighten these up to? Oh, this says install new O-rings. So are these the O-rings or are those the O-rings? On the camshaft position sensors. Okay, the camshaft position sensors. Oh, I want you to put those in last. I want you to put these in after you put the cover on. So. It says put new O-rings on here, and I'm thinking that it's talking about these O-rings. Let's see, what do we have here? We have lots of O-rings. These look like the position sensor. That looks like not a position sensor, but position sort of caliper thing. What do we have here? That's not one of them. That is 246 something. So it's not that, because that's 6 of them. This is 246 something. That. This is not those. This is probably something that goes in the header. Then these are here's our exhaust manifold, here's our intake manifold, gasket, here's our head cover, our valve cover gaskets. Let's see, what are some of the other... Before I put that on, I see this sensor and a sensor down here. let's see, a sensor, not there, not over there. Okay, so it looks like we have 2 sensors still left. I'm going to lift this engine up, take a closer look. Apologize for all the shaking. We cannot, the system that we found for recording video first person does not have a stability system in it, video stability system. We're going to try to fix this up in post-production. If it does work, then all of my apologizing about this will not make any sense to you. It means that we solved the problem. So just giving you a heads up, if it is shaky, if the video is shaky right now, just know that we know that, and we are trying to find ways to address that issue. Let's see here now. Okay, so we got that. We've checked that side. Now let's check this side. We've got a sensor here, and we've got a sensor down here. And that looks like that's it. I don't see any other sensors. So, with no other sensors, and then let's take a look at the valve covers. Okay, now we see where some of these other gasket type things go, right here. Wow, this bad boy is pretty dirty. That's cool. We'll be cleaning this up and putting it on. Fortunately, we don't have to. I mean, we can clean this, but this is not necessary, so we don't have to replace the valve covers. Replace the valve covers entirely because of some design decision that the engineers made. Let's put that there. Okay, I see where those 6 big gaskets go. Set the flywheel aside. And we have these gaskets here, which we have replacements for. Looks like something other than a gasket, so we'll leave that there. This is definitely the intake manifold here, so we have gaskets for the intake manifold. And let's see. I see these, something here, looks like it could be the fuel rail. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these guys, so These may be, what, fuel injectors? I don't know if this is dirty or clean. It looks pretty good to me, but it doesn't look like there's, it's being clogged with buildup or anything. The holes look, you can see straight through there, so they look clean to me. These gaskets probably need to be replaced. Let's see if we have intake gaskets over here. Okay, those look like 2 intake gaskets. And we've got this other intake gasket there. And we've already got that replaced. And these 6 look like the 6 gaskets for the tube. Yep, that looks like those will fit there. Not sure what these are though. Okay, yep, that's those. And on the bottom side, okay, that must be where this other gasket goes. The other intake gasket goes, which is that one over there. This new one is green. All right, now that, I'm going to put this over here, put these over here to be cleaned, or at least be soaked. No, I don't see anywhere else for the gaskets that are in this bag. I mean, for the O-rings, that is, that are in this bag. So when I see 6 green O-rings and then we've got these black O-rings, and since the O-rings that are on these guys are black, they look too small though. They look too small. It's hard to believe that they would include all of these gaskets and then, include all of these O-rings, but leave out the O-rings that the book says are vital for, it says install new O-rings on the camshaft position sensor. All right, well, that will have to come after. We'll have to figure that out afterwards. All right, we'll leave these over here. So where does it say to put the loosely install the front cover bolts? Place a bead of gasket maker on the engine front cover as shown. Okay. on time. Time? Okay, that's going to make, we've only got about 10 minutes in this segment, so that's going to make it difficult to get our gasket maker prepped and on the front of the engine, and then get the engine cover on without this gasket maker drying, or we completely run out of time. So I will switch over to soaking these guys. There's that, and we'll take our pry bar. That looks too small, so we need a bigger pry bar. Looks like we need the biggest one. Go ahead and soak this down too. Now, if you're wondering why I'm soaking this before, excuse me, popping these gaskets out. Boy, that stuff can get in your throat. It's just a preference. It's just a preference. I just want this. I just want to wet these up a little bit to pop them out here. Boy, that's pretty unstable there. There we go. Oops, don't want that down in there. I want that over here. Now let's take all these dirty old mugs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, let's wet this down. We can start to clean these areas out here. And I'll wet the other side. Now, when you take your car to the dealership, I don't know. Do they really go through all this? Do they clean? Do they go through and hand clean all the parts, or do they have some sort of machine that they can clean up all these parts and components in? They just stick it in there and stick it in the machine, stick the parts in the machine, and out comes nice, clean, shiny parts. Or do they have to do like all the rest of us? Sit down by hand, clean all of this up, or put it back in dirty. Would you take a quick look over at that email and see if there's anything that looks important? Is that the top? Should be at the top. Okay. 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 So we're about to put the front cover on, but before we do that, we got some other things to do here. And part of it is that we're on a timer. And so we just clean these up. We're running low on time so that we can make a video that has the entire procedure, or as much of the procedure as we can get, on one video, rather than splitting it up across 2 or 3 videos to do one thing, like put the front cover on, for instance. Let's go ahead and scrub this out. And this is good use of the time because it's something that you're going to want to do. You're going to want to clean all of your parts, so you can be confident that when you put your new engine in your car, that it has the best possible chance of running for as long as possible, because you got as much of the dirt and grime and old oil and all the stuff that can hurt your engine. You got that out. These little corners down in here are really annoying to me. All down in here. This stuff, all this down in here is just really annoying to me. This stuff is super hard to clean unless you've got like some sort of blaster, sandblaster or something like that. Crap down in This is the crap in the first place. Caused the engine to fail. And one of the updates that GM made to this engine was in this area. So this is the area that you're going to see. You're going to see a lot of the dirt and grime. Yours may even be worse if your car's a little older or you didn't take as good a care of it as like we did. And I say as good a care, but we took really good care of this car for what we knew and what we knew or what we thought. We thought that changing the oil, I changed the oil every 3,000 miles in this car. But I changed it with cheap oil and cheap oil filter, which I can say from experience does not help you one bit. Well, I shouldn't say not one bit, but it certainly doesn't help you to keep your engine from failing from a timing chain problem, merely because you are changing the oil every 3,000 miles. All right, so when I go take a look at this, now we've got this PVC valve here. This PVC valve has a small little hole in it. Let's see if you can see through that. And you cannot. Cannot see through that hole. There's a PVC valve there with two holes in the bottom, just like the newer update would tell you, but this one, hey, that's what you want to see right there. I'm squeezing here, putting this over here and squeezing. That's what you want. You want to see the water squirting straight out of there, but if you look, see, yeah, I saw two streams. If you didn't, let me assure you that I saw two streams of water, two streams of fluid coming out when I squirted into this one hole. I squirted into this one hole here. Let's see here. I squirted into this one hole, and then the fluid came out of these two holes here. So that means that this PVC valve is working just fine. It's ventilating the heat as it should. Just clean this up so that when we put the rubber connector back on here, that it snaps back on there nice and tight. All right, so we got that cleaned out. Got this more or less cleaned up. I'm going to take a whole bunch of that purple stuff and pour it in here and rinse everything off. But I'll do one more turn on this. Let's take this oil cap off. Okay. Take that oil cap and then spray down in here. I saw a great big O-ring in that box over there, so I'm wondering if that O-ring is for this oil cap. That'd be a nice addition. Be a friendly addition. Not so sure that it's necessary. but it would be a friendly addition. All right. Stick this down here and some of this crud that's just hanging out right around the corners of this thing. And, oh, look at that. Look at that. You can't get all the way through down into this to clean out the whole oil cap unless you take to clean. You can't get in here to clean out where the oil cap. I don't know, the tube or oil cap connector or whatever. I'm sure all these guys have different names for these different parts, but you can't get in there to clean this out, whatever it is, because there's some sort of a shield blocking this part here. So we'll just clean that as much as we can. Clean this out in here as much as we can. And then this here. Spray this down once again before we go ahead and call this session done. And get ready to finish up with this header, with this intake stuff, and the head, and the valve cover gasket, or the valve covers, and then so we'll leave these to sit and let the cleaner, sort of dig into these a bit. We won't leave them so long as we did the last time, so that the cleaner can, dry and get hard and so forth. But while this is lying here, getting ready to go back on the engine, we will go back over here we'll go back over and get ready to put this front cover on to the engine. And what the instructions say is, you want to put your gasket maker all around the front of the engine, then bring the engine cover over and place it on. That's going to be a longish job. It's probably going to take about an hour to do that one piece. So we'll do that as one complete session. Till next time.